Do you ever hear people toss around the terms like VT, LT, OBLA, MLSS and wonder if you're missing something? Well, you're not alone. It's one of the most confusing areas in exercise physiology. Today we're clearing up lactate while riding. Think of this as a tour through your body's lactate landscape, from a steady state cruise to leg melting effort. Or put another way, from the first trickle of lactate to the point where your legs feel like lava. This is exercise physiology in action, where the science rides with you. Let's roll. Before we dive in, I have a quick training update. I've been holding steady around the 30-mile mark, which is great, but I've definitely hit a bit of a plateau. I've built a solid aerobic base with a lot of long zone 2 rides, but I'm no longer accumulating much fitness. Basically, I'm bumping my head against my current physiologic ceiling, which means it's time to change gears, both literally and physiologically. I'm switching from those steady state 3-hour endurance rides to shorter, more intense sessions. Think 1.5 to 2 hours max, with 20-minute threshold repeats in zone 4. Not exactly fun, but certainly effective. The goal is to raise my lactate threshold and critical power so I can ride faster with less effort at the same oxygen consumption, which is crucial if I want to hit the 50-mile event healthy this summer. Before we hit the thresholds, we got to start at the beginning. Even at rest, your muscles are producing a little bit of lactate, and that's normal. At low intensities of exercise, when you just start out, say 50 to about 56% of VO2 max, your body recycles this lactate very efficiently using MCT1 transporters in these type 1 slow twitch muscle fibers to help recycle it. It also sends it to the liver, heart, kidneys, and brain, which use it for fuel. Yes, lactate is fuel. This is your aerobic threshold. It's not often discussed. There's no spike, there's no drama, but the story changes as we ramp it up. At about 60% of VO2 max in the untrained, we hit lactate threshold, LT1. You'll see a small but consistent rise in blood lactate over your baseline of 1 millimole per liter in your blood. Some further specify this as LT 2.0 as they feel that's a clearer differentiation off the 1.0 millimole per liter baseline. At the same time, you start breathing a bit harder. That's VT1, ventilatory threshold 1, also called gas exchange threshold, or GET. This ventilation increase is stimulated by the rise in CO2. That's your body buffering CO2 from lactate metabolism, and your breathing rhythm shifts. Think 1 breath every 3 to 4 pedal strokes instead of 5 to 6, or 1 for every 4 steps with running. You're no longer coasting. The ventilatory drive is mainly to get rid of CO2 because you're trying to maintain equation balance, and we do remain isocapnic at this stage. And it's pretty sweet. It's a bloodless way to check lactate threshold. No finger pricks needed. Athletes train here to build endurance. Performance at your LT1, also called tempo pace, has been shown to be a pretty good predictor of race times for 2+ hours, such as marathon, triathlon, or long-distance cycling events like the one I'm doing this summer. And yes, you guessed it, LT1 is trainable. So by increasing mitochondrial density, you'll clear lactate better and delay this deflection. Training your type 2A fibers as well also increases this threshold. Keep pushing, however, and you'll reach that transition to the next threshold, going through your maximal lactate steady state, or MLSS. This is your highest sustainable effort where lactate plateaus. It bumps above that 1.0, yes, but stabilizes. Beyond this, lactate and CO2 build faster than you can clear it. MLSS roughly equals your FTP and is close to your critical power, give or take. Critical power is a little bit higher. Train here and you'll raise the ceiling for how long you can go hard. MLSS is dependent on your buffering system, HCO3. With training, we do increase this a little bit. This is also where the science of pacing meets the art of suffering. This sucks. Next up, LT2, also known as onset of blood lactate accumulation, OBLA, aka respiratory compensation point, RCP, Also lactate turn point, LTP, LT 2.5, or some even reference it as LT 4.0. Technically, you need to go past the MLSS to see the next rise, that next deflection over time. But MLSS and LT2 are essentially the same. It's semantics, but the LT2 is basically what you can see once you go beyond the steady state, if you keep plotting those data points. Breathing becomes fast, 1 to 2 this time, or even 1 to 1 every pedal stroke if you're going uphill, a hard hill there. It is the ill-defined VT2 or respiratory compensation point, which does correlate pretty close to LT2, but it's sometimes hard to measure unless you're doing a VO2 max test indoors. This is critical power, and this is dependent on the quality of your type 1 and type 2A fibers, and more importantly, capillary density. At this stage, you're maxing out your type 2A fibers, and since these don't have as much mitochondria, you're burning through glycogen and producing a lot of H+ and other substances associated with fatigue. This is the threshold you feel. LT1 you can hang and maintain for a while. Critical power, you are dancing on the red line. This is also called critical speed in running, which is basically your 10K race pace, or the 1500 meter in the pool if you're fast enough, which I am not. Critical power is the pace you can maintain for basically 20 to 40 minutes for most of us commoner riffraff like me. But for the well-trained or highly motivated, we're talking pain cave here, this is maybe tolerable for about 45 to 65 minute events. Basically the 40K time trial on the bike, which I do, by the way, in like 2 hours plus, to give you some perspective. I cannot maintain that. So if you reach MLSS but don't pass it, you may be able to sustain this for up to an hour. But what if you go beyond? You go beyond LT2, things go downhill fast. This is when your engine starts to overheat. You've entered the red zone. Powerful, yes, but short-lived. This is the battery that you're burning through, your W prime. Muscles burn, coordination drops, breathing gets frantic, and fatigue hits hard. It is not sustainable, and your body knows it. Performance plummets and you just crash in the bushes. This is the don't go there zone. But here's the good news. You can train these thresholds with consistent aerobic and spot anaerobic work. Recall, VO2 max can only rise about 20 to 30% with training. That might sound disappointing, but it doesn't matter. We don't race at VO2 max, but at or near our thresholds. FYI, running at your VO2 max is basically the 800 meter or the 1 mile pace. And that stinks. I did that in high school. I couldn't break 2 minutes. It was terrible. LT1, however, you can raise from about 55 to 60 if you're untrained to about 80% of your VO2 max, which is awesome. What a move. LT2, you can raise from 70 to 90% of your VO2 max. With good, consistent training, your breathing becomes more efficient, mitochondria multiply, capillary density increases, your bicarbonate buffer increases, type 2A fibers become trained and more oxidative, you'll burn more fat at higher intensities, and you'll realize that lactate is no longer your enemy. But it is tough. Like Greg LeMond said, it never gets easier, you just go faster. So next time your breathing shifts or your legs start to burn, you'll know you've just crossed a threshold. And these aren't just numbers, they are signposts in your training. Master them and you'll ride smarter, longer, and stronger. If you're a bit nerdy like me and you want to see these graphs drawn out with correlates, the thresholds, the fiber recruitment, and exercise domains to conceptualize these a little better, I made a video probably here or here. And I'll see you next ride as I train towards the Cure Bound Cancer Challenge this summer. Whoa. Horse.